Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. If you're wondering how much it costs to travel to Easter Island as a budget traveler in 2025, this video is for you. We're going to go over exactly what we spent in the course of 4 days and some cost-saving tips that we learned along the way.
Starting off strong, the biggest expense for us was transportation. Overall, we spent $713 in total, or $356.50 per person.
Our flight cost us about $618 total, or about $309 per person. Despite what some of you might think, this is actually a steal for a plane ticket to Easter Island, because typical costs usually land around $600 to $800. So we flew out of Santiago and booked directly through LATAM website, which actually offered a way cheaper price than the typical flight trackers like Skyscanner and Expedia. We also visited during April, which is one of the cheapest months to visit. Other cheap months for flying to Easter Island are October, November, and March.
We also paid $30.15 to check our bags because we brought non-perishable food items with us to save money on food costs. However, learn from our mistake. You do not need to check a bag if it's carry-on size, because in Chile, you can fly domestically with over 3-ounce liquids. We're from the United States and we didn't know better, but this was a price we easily could have avoided if we'd done the research beforehand.
Also, we rented a scooter for 24 hours to head to Anaquena Beach, which is one of the few places on the island where you do not need a guide. That cost us about $40, and we spent $7.20 filling up the tank. However, we could have also saved money in this department if we would have booked a scooter rental with our hostel, Puavaenga, which only charged us $25 for 24 hours. So sad. If you plan on staying at Puavaenga, which we highly recommend, learn from us and definitely book through them.
And last but not least, for transportation, we paid $17.49 on getting to the airport via Uber because we had a 5 a.m. flight and we couldn't take public transportation that early in the morning, and we honestly just really didn't want to.
Next, we spent $165.32 on accommodations. This equals out to about $41.33 a night, or $20.66 per person per night. We stayed at Puavaenga, like we mentioned previously, and we would definitely, hands down, 100% recommend it for those who don't necessarily want to camp, but still want affordable accommodations in a friendly and clean environment. I believe it was the cheapest accommodation option that we found. So if you want to have a good budget-friendly option, definitely check out our affiliate link in the description below. The hostel had a kitchen, so we saved a ton by only cooking our own meals, which leads us to food costs.
So when we were planning our trip, all of the blog posts that we read mentioned bringing non-perishables to the island to save money, since most of the food does have to be imported to the island. We spent $58.92 on groceries in Santiago for our meals and snacks. But an important thing to note is that the ecosystem is very, very fragile on the island, so you can't take any fresh produce or honey. So we did end up spending $29.28 on water, fruits, and veggies while we were there. We also splurged just a little bit and went out to eat twice for $65.95. And we also bought snacks for the plane for $43.55. Ouch! Overall, our food total over the course of 4 days was $197.70.
Lastly, we spent $375.63 on our activities and attractions, or $187.82 per person. Rapa Nui recently passed a rule where you can only enter most of the national park sites with a certified local guide. We spent $157.43 or $78.72 per person on tickets to enter the national park, and $145.69 for a private full-day tour, or $72.85 per person.
We definitely could have bought a full-day group tour for around $20 less in total. However, I personally had a ton of questions about the island, and I didn't really want to feel rushed at any of the sites. So if you don't really mind spending $10 more per person, I think a private tour is totally worth it, and it made our experience feel really personal.
Absolutely.
We were really impressed with the tour company we went with, and we'll include their WhatsApp number in the description.
Last but not least, we booked tickets at Te Moana, which was a theatrical dance that told the story of the Moai on the island, for $72.51 or $36.25 per person. It included a 2-hour show and an optional face painting and a juice, which was totally worth it.
And wrapping up, our last expense was souvenirs, and we spent $92.84 in total. total on souvenirs.
Woo, we don't usually do this.
We're not the type to typically buy souvenirs, especially because we travel out of our backpacks and we have limited space. But our trip was nearing its end, so we thought it was totally worth it to show our family that we were thinking of them in this fantastic place.
So to wrap up, the highest spending categories for our trip to Easter Island were number 1, transportation, and
2, activities and attractions.
we could have saved around $250 if we knew about the checked bag and scooter rental situation, didn't buy souvenirs, and opted out of buying snacks and dining out. So if you want to go full budget mode, you could definitely do it for cheaper, especially if you book a campsite. But overall, we didn't regret spending a dime.
As a recap, we both spent around $772 per person over the course of 4 days, which equaled out to be around $193 per day per person. What are your thoughts? Is this a reasonable amount to spend on the most remote inhabited island in the world? Drop your comments below.
If you like this type of content that covers what we spend in a destination as budget travelers, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming content.
And if you want to make the travel budget planning easier, make sure to grab my travel budget planner for backpackers in the link in the description.
See you guys next time.